Hello there. Do you want to make money while doing nothing? Well, so do I. The problem is I don't know how. But the good news is some people in highly respected online publication Medium seems to know how, and they are eager to share their wisdom with us. I collected a bunch of Medium articles about passive income, and today we are going to explore them together to see if any of them are actually good and helpful. To be honest, I am skeptical about this. I mean, if it was possible to just start making passive income, wouldn't everyone do that? Like, how would poor people exist if you can just start making money from nothing without any effort, regardless of your qualifications or job opportunities? There's got to be a catch somewhere, right? So for each advice, we are going to try and figure out why everyone doesn't just do that. And if we cannot find the reason why, then the advice is actually good and helpful, and we are going to become rich. By the way, I didn't search for these articles. They have been curated by Medium itself. You see, a few years ago, I decided that I need to create a professional blog. I'm a programmer, and it's a common career advice for software developers to have a professional blog somewhere. So I created one, I wrote one article, and then I never touched it since. However, Medium continues to send me daily emails with a digest of articles that it thinks I might be interested in. And I didn't look at them for years, but a few months ago I started to open them just because I was curious, and I realized that almost all of them had at least one article about passive income. And I thought, this is so funny. Medium figured me out because they know I have a professional blog, which means I care about making money. But they also know that I don't write anything in my blog. So I am too lazy to actually do something in order to make money. And as a conclusion, the perfect way of making money for me would be passive income, which is why they started to send me these articles. Well, yes, they are entirely correct. I think passive income would be the perfect income source for me, and I do need advice on that. There are dozens of articles, and Medium felt confident enough about them to send them as part of this curated digest, so there's got to be at least some good advice there, right? Well, I guess there is only one way to find out, so let's jump into the articles. I sorted the articles in ascending order of how much money they promise you'll make. So we start small, less ambitious, and then work our way up. The first article I wanted to talk about is how I grew my passive income from $60 to $600 a month. What's the advice here? Step one is repurposing content. Basically, you should take your existing content and then convert it into a different format and post it. If you have a YouTube video, for example, you can post your video on different websites, not only YouTube, like Dailymotion, I don't know, TikTok maybe. You can transcribe it and post it on Medium or any other blogging platform as an article. This is actually a decent idea. I just don't think it's very passive. I mean, you do need to make your content in order to do that. It's more of an amplifier of your efforts, which is great, but not exactly passive, which is where step number 2 comes in, automation. You can automate the process of transcribing videos, posting content on different platforms. Pretty cool, it saves you a lot of time and effort. And the best thing is, advice number 3, you can sell your automation tools to other creators. I think that is the most passive part of this, because if you have your tools that you use, you can also sell them and you don't need to spend any more effort on that. People will just keep buying them if they see that they work for you and they want the same thing. But what if that's not enough? What if we want to spend as little effort as possible? Well, here is where step 4 comes in. Automating responses to comments to maximize engagement. Finally, the answer to my question of how do I respond to comments? Well, I don't. I just let AI respond for me. I imagine how fun it must be to leave a comment under a video you liked and get generic thank you reply from AI. If you're lucky, you can even get deep reply or even lead magnet fulfillment, whatever that is. So what can I say about this article? It's not really about passive income. It's more about maximizing your revenue and minimizing your efforts when you're running an online business, when you're a content creator of some kind. Because even selling automation tools is only going to work if you keep actively working on your own content and people see that these tools really work for you. Also, I don't really like the vibe of this article. It takes all the joy out of content creation and turns it into this soulless metrics chasing. Is this what content creation is these days? Is this what I have to do in order to become a successful YouTuber? If so, I don't really want to do this anymore. But that's just my opinion. It doesn't mean the advice is bad. It seems very grounded and realistic. If anything, it's a little bit too grounded and realistic. I think content creation should be a little bit more fun and joyful and not reduced to, fulfilling lead magnets and stuff like that. But if it works, it works. If you care about making money and don't mind treating content creation this way, then this advice seems like something that would work. So go ahead and good luck. Our next article is how I built $300 per month side income in 30 days with AI. Effortless way. Well, effortless is great. It's much better than the previous article where the guy spent a lot of effort actually creating the content and then creating his automation tools and then setting up all of this automation. And I don't want to do all that, so let's see what this article suggests. Okay, we're going to build a niche website. Most of marketers tries to build a niche website manually, but the problem with it is the process is very time consuming. Yeah, that makes sense because you need to be an expert in your niche and then you need to write articles which are actually helpful. So we need a smarter and faster solution. That's when I found Bolt AI. Oh no. Okay, so this guy just asked AI to generate a whole ass website with all the content, and then he asked AI to do some SEO optimization so that the website ranks higher in search results. In my previous video, I talked about this phenomenon where any AI-generated garbage can be SEO optimized and then it shows up and clogs every search result. So that's not helpful at all, and I suppose you can make a few bucks from this, but what is your end game here? Either the search engines are going to solve this issue somehow. They'll learn how to filter out all of the garbage that's been artificially optimized to rank higher, and then your whole business model is gone and search is usable again. Or alternatively, search engines cannot figure it out, and the internet is going to be just completely flooded with AI-generated slop on any topic, and search becomes unusable, people stop using it, and your business model fails. Either way, you temporarily made a little bit of money and made life worse for everyone else on the planet. How does that sound? I understand how tempting it can be. I understand that people in a tight financial position could really use these extra $300 per month. And if you're in a really tight spot, convenience of other people or like the environmental concerns of AI using up tons of energy are not on the top of your list of priorities. So here is another reason not to do it. It's not going to work. Generating websites with AI is the new dropshipping or, well, being a YouTuber. Since the barrier of entry is basically non-existent. Millions of people are trying to do this, and as a result, it is extremely hard and luck-based to achieve any kind of success here. Even if your website will generate some money for a bit, every day thousands of people are trying to do the same thing, and some of them are automating this process and just pumping out these AI slop websites like crazy. And there is no chance your website will stand out. It will just drown in newer websites that are being created every day. So I would really suggest you to explore other options before you turn to the dark side of making money online. Let's move on to the next article. Maybe it will be better. fast passive income side hustles that will make you money in 2025. Rocket emoji. So the article doesn't mention how much you'll make, but on the screenshot with the gasping woman, you can see $485.05. So I assume that's how much you'll make, and let's explore the actual advice. Number 1, sharing internet. Now, that's something I've never heard of before. Sharing your internet bandwidth sounds kind of suspicious, to be honest. Like, there is no way your internet is going to be used for something legit, right? There's got to be some dark web traffic being routed through your computer, which cannot be good. The apps that are mentioned here explain it in vague terms. Pawns app says people and businesses around the world tap these connections to overcome geographic barriers, which says nothing really. Honeygain provides a bit more details. You help our verified business partners perform data-intensive tasks like price comparison, ad verification, and more, which is still pretty vague. I have no idea what's going on. I think it's some kind of VPN proxy server. Anyway, let's assume that these businesses are legit. Let's assume your machine is not routing something illegal. The question is, does it work? How much money you'll make? Based on the Trustpilot reviews, it looks like you are not going to make anything. People are saying that they make around $1 per month, and they cannot even cash this out because the minimal payout is $20. So you'll have to spend almost 2 years doing this before you can get your $20. So the apps promise you to credit a certain amount of money per gigabyte of traffic it uses. But the problem is the app itself tells you how much traffic it used. It can basically pay you as much as it wants. And there is no way to dispute that. A lot of reviews say something like, oh, the app has bugs, it's so glitchy. And I don't think it's bugs. I think this is the exact way the app is programmed to work. It's just using as much traffic as possible and then pretends that it uses less because it doesn't want to give you any money. It seems like the only way to earn at least something here is to recruit other people to the app using affiliate links, which is why some people may be positive about this. So it's basically a pyramid scheme, and I don't think it is a good way of making money. Let's see if the second idea is better. Renting out your parking space. Well, that's not a bad income source. I just don't think a lot of people have spare parking space that is also desirable for other people to rent. It's a neat little source of income if you can tap into it, but that's definitely not for everyone. So let's see what's next. Renting out equipment. Very similar to the previous advice, but in this case you have to own some professional equipment like a camera, tripods, lighting, anything that professionals may want to rent from you. And this is again not something that many people just have. But if you do, feel free to follow this advice. I don't think there is a catch here. I guess the catch is that you probably cannot make much money, but still you can look into that. What's next? Selling online courses. Oh, I'm afraid I know where this is going. Selling online courses can be a legit income source, obviously, but you do have to be like an expert in a certain field. And you also need to have a talent for teaching, or at least a lot of time and effort to craft like a good course that people want to buy and can get something out of. So I'm very suspicious that this way of making money is listed here as something that you can do fast and without any effort. Let's see. Oh, of course the advice here is to use AI to generate a course. Oh my god. Yeah, it's kind of hard to categorize this. I mean, if you use AI to generate a course and then sell it to people for money, and then pocket this money, this is very unethical. And not because of AI. People have been selling garbage courses for, well, since before the internet actually. And I don't think we should contribute into this tradition. Now let's see what else is on the list here. Affiliate marketing blogs. Yeah, that's not really new, and it's also either same as the advice from the previous article where you generate something using AI, or it's not really passive income because you will have to write articles for your blog before you can monetize it with affiliate links. And that's it. That's the article. So the advice ranged from rent something out to very unethical. It's a bit better than the previous one, but still not very good, so let's continue. How I earned $500 passive income from my blog in 1 month. Passive income from a blog. Don't you have to write something in your blog in order to make money from it? And if so, how is that passive income? Well, I have a blog that I don't write anything to, so if I can somehow make $500 per month from that, that would be great. I need to see what this article is about. And surprisingly, despite the AI-generated picture at the top, it is not about using AI at all. In fact, article doesn't mention AI even once. It's just advice on how to make money from a blog. This person just describes how they chose a niche they're passionate about and then started to write and promote their articles and eventually make money from affiliate links, sponsored posts, and ads. This is a very honest and straightforward way of making money online, and I appreciate advice on that does not involve using AI or other nefarious means to avoid spending any effort and contributing anything to society. I just have one thing to say to the author of this article. Passive income. You keep using this phrase, and I don't think it means what you think it means. What the article describes is not passive in the slightest, it's just being a content creator. At best, it's a side hustle, if not a full-time job, writing and researching and promoting. So if I judge this as an article on passive income, this is not helpful at all. But if I judge it as an article on how to make money from a blog, well, I think the advice is decent. That's pretty much how I imagined running a successful blog would look like. I don't know how feasible it is to make money from a blog in the age of AI. You know, on the one hand, there are so many AI-generated, automated websites out there, and your website will just be lost among them. On the other hand, the article does suggest that you not just rely on Google indexing your blog and people randomly finding it, but you do have to actively promote it somewhere. So if you do that, and if you write good articles, people will start subscribing to you, and that's how you will grow a loyal audience that will not be distracted by AI slop that also exists in your niche. So yeah, you can try it, but it's just not passive income advice. The next article is make $649 every month with AI images. I know that a lot of people at least try to make money with AI generated images because Google image search results and stock photo websites are filled to the brim with AI generated garbage. But I never actually saw a manual on how to do that. So let's read it. Step 1. Generating the prompts. This is so funny. The people who call themselves AI artists keep telling us that they are actually creatives because they come up with the prompts, like writing a good prompt to generate a beautiful picture. That's where the skill and creativity comes in. If you write a really good prompt, you will get a really good picture, and if you write a bad prompt, you will get something very generic. And that might be true, but this guy doesn't care about this at all. He suggests to use ChatGPT to write the prompts to the image generating AI. Well, to be fair, there is some work involved. You need to mention trending topics so that ChatGPT generates a prompt based on that. But I don't know, can't you just ask ChatGPT to also search for trending topics? I mean, if you are not going to spend any effort or being creative in the slightest, why not go all the way? Step 2. Input the prompt that ChatGPT generated into an image generating AI. I have nothing to say about this, so let's go to step 3. Upscaling the images. Oh yes, increasing the image resolution and quality. People who are not very technical kind of assume that this is possible since the 90s. And now it's actually a thing. So scientific progress does happen, I guess. It is kind of sad that this amazing technology is used to mislead people into thinking they are buying a good quality stock footage. and not for, catching criminals based on blurry photos. But, well, what can you do? It's capitalism for you. The purpose of any innovation is to make money, not helping people. Speaking of making money, step 4. Make money. To be fair, the article does advise you to clearly label your pictures as AI generated. So you're not technically lying to people, you just count on people not noticing this label and buying your AI generated picture anyway. Can you make a few bucks from that? Maybe, but I really don't think it's a good and reliable income source. Since the market for AI generated images is so oversaturated, even people who pretend that their images are real cannot make reliable income from it. And if you clearly label your pictures as AI generated, well, you'll have better luck selling sand in the desert. The article suggests to sell prints of your images or turn them into NFTs. In 2025, NFTs, oh my god. Finally, you can have a Patreon with exclusive content that people can pay money to access. And I have one question. Who the hell is going to pay money to see your AI generated pictures? Why would anyone subscribe to your Patreon where you post AI generated images made from AI generated prompts? People are different. Some people may like AI generated pictures for what they are. Thing is, these people can make as much of them as they want, but the vast majority of people don't want to see them for free, and you're paywalling them? Unless there is a twist, like something funny or grotesque going on, AI images generated by other people are just not interesting, at all. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not a real way of making money. And the proof is actually in this very same article. The author doesn't really mention anywhere how much money he is making from this. He doesn't say where this very specific number, $649 per month, came from. They don't include links to their Patreon or web shop or even any of their images on stock websites, which I would definitely do in their position just to get some exposure. It makes no sense to not plug your own stuff there. There are 3 random AI generated images in this article, but at least 2 are not generated by the author because they are created by 3 different people. So there is zero proof the author follows their own advice, much less making any amount of money this way. And in conclusion, this is stupid and it doesn't work. The next article is how I easily earned $700 in passive income at Redbubble. Why Redbubble is the easiest side hustle you've never tried. The intro is intriguing. If you want to earn fast cash online without getting your face, your cash, and without spending a whole day, this is easily the least stressful side hustle I have ever heard of. We don't need to learn to code or have an audience, which is great. I know how to code, kinda, and I do have an audience of less than 50 people, but if I can do without both, that's amazing. What we need to do is to upload our designs on Redbubble and just wait for the money to hit our bank account. You don't even need to be a designer. Every time someone orders a product like a cup or a t-shirt with your design on it, you will get paid. And you don't need to do anything except create and upload the image to the website. The inventory, printing, and sending stuff to the customers is handled by Redbubble itself, which sounds really good, to be honest. It's that simple. No inventory, no customer support, no packaging, just creativity and consistency. And the author uses AI to generate the designs, so you don't actually need creativity as well, just consistency, I guess. Yeah, you don't even have to write prompts, just like the previous article says. You can ask AI to generate you a prompt for a different AI and then create your design, or I guess AI's design. Then you resize it to make it appear of higher quality than it actually is. Then you use AI to generate title and description, and you are all set. Make sure to upload as much AI slop as possible to drown out any competition from the real artists and from the other hustlers that are trying to do the same thing as you. That's pretty much the advice. This is not good. The article says you will make $700 a month, but it's actually $700 in 3 months, which is still nice, but there are 2 problems with that. The first one is you're probably not going to make anything because given the amount of AI slop uploaded to Redbubble every day, it will be kind of hard to stand out among that. Second, this is straight up unethical. The author of this article doesn't see anything wrong with that, and I know that some people will agree. They'll say that, well, who is the victim here? If the designs look good, if people are buying them willingly, then what's the problem, right? Who cares how these designs were produced? And I have a question for you. If no one cares, then why don't you include a clear disclaimer that says this is AI generated? Is it because you realize that people actually do care and they won't buy AI generated stuff if they know it's AI, so you prefer to lie by omission and take people's money? This is a rhetorical question, you don't have to answer that. Anyway, I'm done preaching. In conclusion, using Redbubble as a source of income is an interesting idea. If you are a creative professional, if you're like a photographer, a designer, and you want to make some extra money, you can try uploading your stuff to Redbubble and see if it works. If it does, then great. If not, well, at least you're trying to make money honestly. And if you're not an artist and you still want to make some quick cash from Redbubble by uploading AI generated designs, I have no authority to stop you, but please don't. Let's move on to the next article. Turn $20,000 in savings into $1,000 a month in passive income. So good news and bad news about this article. The bad news is you need to have 20k for this to work, and that's not something everyone just has. I personally don't. But the good news is this barrier makes it seem more legit. Also, the article is written by an old guy using his real name, so it's more likely to be boring and therefore legit. Let's see what the actual advice is. Right, Warren Buffett is mentioned, so this is about the stock market, and Buffett apparently earns 60% of his investment annually, which would seem right to me if I knew nothing about stock market, but unfortunately I do, and I know that the normal amount of money is about 10 times less than that. Like your investment in S&P 500 is going to grow at approximately 6% per year, not 60. So something is off here, but it's Buffett and he's a genius, so how does he do it? Apparently he bought over $1 billion worth of Coca-Cola stock a long time ago, and now 30 years later he gets in dividends 60% of that sum every year, because the price of the stock increased massively over decades and the dividend percentage also increased. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The advice here is be very lucky with your investment and then wait 30 years and then you'll be making money. What can I say about this? The advice is okay, I guess. It's just investing in the stock market. I just don't think you are actually going to enjoy this insane 60% yearly return on your investment because first, you need to get really lucky with your investment, and then you need to wait decades in order for the investment to actually return 60% every year. So if you want to follow this, good luck with that. But it's pretty clear to me why people are not just making passive income this way. So let's go to the next article. How I built a $39 per day passive income stream with an anime Facebook group. Sharing dumb anime memes sounds like a lot of fun, at least more fun than, investing in stocks. Let's see how to make passive income from it. Step 1. Create a page. Okay, sounds straightforward enough. Step 2. Post content. Right, so you just save memes that you like from all over the internet and post them on your page. Some may argue that it is a little bit wrong stealing people's memes for profit, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, this is fine. This is literally how memes work. People just copy them from each other and post them. And if you include links to the source, that's a win-win. Is there anything else? Yeah, we can post our memes in larger Facebook groups on behalf of our meme page, I presume. I have an extremely vague idea of how Facebook works, by the way. I used it on and off many years ago, so I think you can post something on behalf of your page, and that's what this advice is about. Anyway, how do we make money from that? We hit 10,000 subscribers and then we post affiliate links in our group. That seems pretty straightforward. I'm not exactly sure how feasible it is to make money this way, like how much you will make, how regular this income may be. You will also need a fair bit of luck and effort to grow your meme page this much. But overall, I think it's fun and harmless side hustle. I like it. I think this is how people should make money on social media, not being obsessed about like lead magnets or chasing profitable niches, but just, posting memes they like. Pretty decent article. Let's see what the next article is about. How to make $1,500 monthly passive income at age 18. Specifically at age 18, I don't know if being 33 is better or worse, but in any case, let's see what the advice is. I immediately like where this is going. Making $1,500 a month, writing about whatever I want on the internet, sounds like a dream to me, and I don't think there is any way this article can pivot into, using AI to generate a profitable niche article or something like that. So let's scroll past the author's entire life story. Okay, he started to make real money on the internet 9 months ago, but how though? All of a sudden, I built a brand, a content strategy, and systems for writing daily without burning out. Okay. In truth, passive income isn't passive. Well, if it isn't passive, why the hell do you call it passive? I don't understand. People keep saying passive income when they mean side hustle or online business or self-employment. Stop doing that. Words have meaning. Maybe I'm stupid, maybe this is some Gen Z slang that I don't know about. Maybe anything that is not 9-to-5 job is called passive income by the youth these days. Probably not. I think this article just use passive income as a clickbait to lure people to reading this article. So yeah, let's continue reading. Oh wait, that is it. Basically, the whole article is just an ad for this guy's Substack, where he teaches people how to write on Medium. This is so funny. This is a members-only story, so you need to be subscribed to Medium in order to read this. And then you read it and realize that you need to pay $160 a year to this guy to actually get the advice you came here for. As a cherry on top, this is not even passive income advice. Yeah, this is not good. I mean, maybe his writing advice is solid. I definitely was hooked at the beginning. I thought this article was going to be good. I immediately like where this is going. So this guy definitely knows something about writing engaging articles. The problem is, I don't like being lied to. I just don't like this blatant bait and switch. Here is the passive income advice. Steal my formula, upgrade your life. And then you read the article and it's just, well, actually it's not passive income and you also have to pay me to get the advice. I guess the only silver lining here is that it is not unethical to pirate his articles from Substack, because he literally told us to steal the formula and not pay him to get the formula. Good luck with that. Hopefully it will be helpful. I am too lazy to do that, so let's go to the next article. Top 5 skills to master in 2025 to earn $2,000 in passive income. One of these helped me hit my goal. The first skill is content creation. By starting a blog, creating a YouTube channel, or launching a TikTok page, you can create monetizable content. No way, dude, you can do that? This is groundbreaking. I have to do it right now. Tip: hone your video editing, writing, or SEO skills to stand out as a content creator. Yeah, that's some good quality advice right here. I wonder what other wisdom is hidden on these pages, so let's scroll down. Skill number 2, e-commerce automation. Launching a dropshipping store lets you sell physical products without stocking inventory, while running print-on-demand services generate recurring income from custom apparel or merch. Great, dropshipping. Tip: focus on trends that dominate your target market to create products your audience will want to buy. You know what? I mean, I am laughing, but this is art. The art of saying nothing. There are a lot of words on this page and they all have meaning, but no new information is being conveyed. I didn't learn anything at all, and that's very impressive. On a second thought, I doubt that a person wrote this. I think it's just ChatGPT. This reads like a ChatGPT reply, and not even one of the latest models, but like older ChatGPT from a couple of years back. This incredibly shallow surface level knowledge, combined with sensible looking structure and the audacity to offer tips like, in order to earn money, you need to be good at what you're doing. I don't think there is going to be any substantial advice here, but just out of curiosity, let's briefly look at skills 3 to 5. Skill number 3 is data analysis. You can create a financial budgeting tracker or Instagram analytics template and then sell that on freelance marketplaces like Etsy or Fiverr. This one is not as obvious as the previous two, and it's actually a little bit more detailed. The problem is it's still way too shallow to be useful on its own. The skill number 4 is digital marketing, and here the AI is just yapping about how great it is to advertise stuff online, which is hard to argue with, but also completely useless. Finally, skill number 5, AI prompt engineering. Yeah, remember the subtitle of this article? One of these skills helped the author reach his goal. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the skill. He learned how to prompt AI and then he started making Medium articles, just copy-pasting the prompts. So what can I say? This was a complete waste of time in my opinion. It's clearly AI generated based on how bland and soulless it is. The advice is way too shallow to be of any help, and I don't like it one bit. Let's see what the comments say. A practical and forward-looking article highlighting the top 5 skills to master in 2025 for generating a $2,000 monthly passive income, including expertise in AI, digital marketing, cybersecurity, data science, and e-learning development. Wait a second, these are not the skills from the article. There was no mention of cybersecurity and e-learning development, and the comment missed the first 2 skills, content creation and e-commerce. What's going on? Is this comment also AI generated? Interestingly captured. I couldn't disagree more. This was one of the least interesting articles I've ever seen online. So let's move on to the next one. How to make $100 a day passively. Real life examples. So that's good. At least there are going to be some real life examples and not just, hey, you can create content. Before getting into details, let's first understand what it means to make money online passively. Passive income is money that you earn without actively working for it. It doesn't mean you'll not work hard, well, you will. But after you met your goal, you don't always need to put in the same amount of effort as before. You're simply earning a commission or interest on that work. Thank you, man. I am so happy you said that because I was going crazy. I was thinking that maybe I don't understand what passive income means. People keep saying, I make passive income from my blog, and it's just, well, I write my blog every day. I do research, I promote my articles, and that's how I make passive income. So now that is settled, what are the ways to make money passively? Number 1, display ads on your website. Very obvious advice, but it is supported by a lot of examples here, and the author gives you step-by-step instructions on how to set up AdSense. Probably most important of all, he actually did this on his own. Like, it's his experience. He has a website where he runs ads and makes money, and that's how he did it, and that's how much he makes. This is such a stark contrast with the previous article. Like, this is how you are supposed to give basic advice. Everyone knows you can run ads on your website. That's not new. The new thing is, like, how do you actually do that and how much money you'll make? Is it really passive income though? Like, you have to actively work on your website. You have to put some content there and update it regularly so people would constantly visit your website and see these ads. But the ads themselves are just there. You don't have to actively work for them. I guess that can be counted as passive. So that's good advice. If you have a website, you can monetize it using AdSense. What's the next advice? Leverage the affiliate marketing. Again, very basic, but the article goes into details and practical examples on how to do that, so that's good. Advice number 3 is to sell your services. Even the author himself agrees that this is not passive, but he suggests that you can make it passive by outsourcing your work to other people. I don't think I like this advice. I think it's pretty unethical if someone hires you based on your reputation, portfolio, your experience, and then you just hire someone else to do it for you, paying them less than you get paid and pocketing the difference. That's not good. Maybe it's not technically legal, but you're definitely misleading your clients. I suppose it can be made perfectly ethical if you are not pretending that you do it personally. If you say that you're like an agency, like a design agency, and people hire you and then you hire freelancers to do the work for you, then this is just running a business, basically. This is just being a boss. So is it passive income? I guess being like a business owner is the ultimate passive income hack. You just hire people to do all the work and then treat yourself to the surplus value your workers produce. Is this ethical? You tell me. Anyway, advice number 4 is to sell digital products. Yeah, if you write a book or create like an online course and people will keep buying it for a long time after you are finished with it, then it is definitely a passive income source. The author is stressing that you should actually make something useful, something that brings value to people, which I really respect. In an ideal world, that would go without saying, but we read all the previous articles, so it is refreshing to see someone with integrity. Advice number 5 is sponsored posts. Okay, this is not actually passive income. Again, this is just how creators make money online. Man, you started this article by defining what passive income is, and then you just forgot about it, I guess, by the end of the article. Oh well. In conclusion, the article is pretty good, but most of the advice here is not actually about passive income, it's just about how to make money by being an online creator. It's good, but not relevant to our video, so let's continue. 7 best skills to learn in 2025 to make 5K as passive income. I monetized one of them too. Wait a second, this sounds eerily familiar. That's because it's almost word for word the exact same as the awful AI-generated article we saw a couple of articles back, but this time with more skills and more money. We're definitely not going to learn anything useful here, but I am curious, is it the same advice with 2 additional ways of making money tucked on top of it, or are these 7 ways of making 5K per month completely different? So let's see. The first is content creation, which is exactly the same, but the advice is structured differently. It's not a vague paragraph, but instead it's a short list of things. Pretty much the same information, which is nothing really. The next advice is affiliate marketing, which is in essence the same thing as the digital marketing. The third one is AI and automation skills, which is partially what AI prompt engineering in the other article was, but it also includes selling whatever you produce using AI. The previous article was about selling your expertise or prompts to other people, and then they will take care of selling whatever the prompts produce to the general public. So I guess the AI that generated that was more self-aware. Like, yeah, very few people want to buy the garbage you can produce using AI, but a lot of people will want to sell it. So what you do is you tap into this market of people who want to make money using AI and sell your expertise or whatever to them, because this demographics is larger and more desperate to give you money. The fourth advice here is stock photography and videography, which is surprisingly not about spamming stock photo website with AI-generated pictures. The article simply suggests you to learn the basics of photography and photo editing, and then boom, 5K per month in stock photo royalties. This is slightly better advice compared to the rest, because at least it suggests that you learn an actual skill and then use it to make money, and it's more tangible than just content creation. But I really don't think people can expect to earn 5K per month from stock photos, especially if they are not experienced photographers already. The next advice is online course creation. Very light on details, but at least it only suggests you do it for things you actually know about, so that's good. The problem with making money from online courses is that you are not going to make much. A majority of instructors 75% make less than $1,000 a year on Udemy, and only 1% of instructors make a full-time income, which is defined as more than 50k per year. The average creator on Udemy makes slightly more than 3k per year, but the average here is misleading because it's skewed by the top instructors who make a lot of money. If we look at the median figure, which is what a typical Udemy course creator would make, it's 20 to 40 bucks per month or 240, 480 bucks annually. So making online courses is a prime example of something that is profitable in theory. It kind of seems like you should be able to make money from that, but in reality it is just not. Same as dropshipping, basically. The next advice is podcasting. I know very little about podcasting, and what I know comes from watching Only Murders in the Building, but I know enough about the laws of creator economy to say that you're probably not going to make a lot of money here, certainly not 5k per month, at least at the beginning. Is it a fun idea? Yeah, absolutely. If you're passionate about some subject and you want to create a podcast about it, by all means, go ahead. Just don't expect it to make you rich. And also, not passive income. The final suggestion is digital product creation. Just spend 1 to 2 months learning design or whatever and then sell it somehow. There is even an example of something that never happened, so the advice must be good. In conclusion, you can just ask ChatGPT to generate you an article about making passive income and it will do it. Then you can post it on Medium and people will read it and you'll probably get some money from it, not much, but still. You can even ask ChatGPT to generate you a ton of articles, changing the prompt slightly, and the results will be different, but equally useless. Let's continue to the next article. Building a framework for passive income and how it helped me scale from 0 to 9k per month. This is one of the longer articles. The author tells us her entire backstory, her entire journey to success, and basically she does everything. She sells stuff on Etsy, writes articles, sells courses, and makes a respectable amount of money, most of it passively. And she did it all because she used her own guiding principles called the EASE framework. The framework describes her core values, which are E, evergreen/effortless. Basically, business should run mostly by itself and do it forever. A, automated. The business should be automated as much as possible, which is probably a prerequisite of the previous principle. S, strategic, which means you have to make decisions based on your long-term strategy and not just chase trends that are most popular right now. That makes sense. Finally, E, enjoyable. Your work routine must be enjoyable for you, and if it's not, you find ways to make it enjoyable or you do not do it at all. The author uses these principles to guide her business decisions, and that helps her to, well, make decisions and not get sidetracked. So that's good. Her advice is not to copy her principles, but to develop your own principles before you start your business and then stick to these, and then you'll succeed. The rest of the article is mostly her plugging her email list and other endeavors. So what can I say? It's a nice little piece of advice. I think it makes sense, but it's way too vague. It can be summed up as create a business and organize it in a way that works best for you. Does it make sense? Yeah, but is it very helpful? Does it answer your question of how to make 9k per month in passive income? Not really. Alright, this concludes our list of passive income strategies sorted by the amount of money they promise you'll make. In hindsight, I was very naive when I sorted them like that because, with just a couple of exceptions, the authors just pulled the number in the title out of their ass. For some reason, I assumed that the numbers are, if not backed by some kind of statistics, then at least have some relation to the amount of money people made following their own advice. Well, that is just not so. Even if the writer actually followed their own advice, which is surprisingly not the case for a lot of these articles, the sum we see in the title has just no relation to even the numbers mentioned in the text. You can just lie on the internet without any consequences. Anyway, I have a couple of bonus articles that do not promise a specific sum, but it doesn't matter because these numbers are completely meaningless anyway. So let's dive into a passive income success story. The first passive income idea from this article is to write a book. We've seen this advice before, but I really like the way it's presented here. First, the author wrote 14 books, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. And second, he suggests that you put writing a good book filled with helpful advice or information first, and then people will buy it because it's good. So if you want to make money fast as a complete beginner, obviously you cannot follow the advice. I wish more people would follow it and not just chase quick profit at the expense of everyone else. But what can you do? We live in a society, and society demands that we make a lot of money, otherwise we'll be miserable. So let's go to the next advice. Writing online. This is a very sober and honest analysis of how much money you can actually make writing on Medium or similar websites like Substack. And the conclusion is you can make some money, but it won't be much. One thing that every previous article didn't mention, and I kind of suspected that this is the case, and I'm glad this article offers confirmation, is that your articles, or basically anything you put online, is not going to be a source of income forever. There are a few days after posting your article when it will make the vast majority of the money it will ever make. And then the viewership and, as a consequence, income falls off the cliff. So writing articles is not actually passive income. I mean, technically you will still make a few cents here and there over time, but you will need to keep writing articles if you want to make money from blogging. And that means, actively spending effort and not just sitting back and relaxing because you wrote something years ago and it keeps making you money. The main benefit of Medium, according to the author, is not that you can make a living there, but that you can increase your visibility as an expert or just as a content creator. So this is similar to the advice from the first article we looked at. Put yourself on as many platforms as possible, and even if you don't make any money there, at least people will know about you and maybe follow you on other platforms or on your personal website where you can actually make money from viewership. The next advice is, again, writing books, but this time it's smaller self-published ebooks. There is not much to be said about it. The author made an effort to make these books actually good, but the sales were a bit disappointing. Advice number 4 is licensing content. For example, creating a course and then allowing other people to teach this course for a fee. Now, this is obviously not something many people can do. In fact, a lot of people today kind of forgot that courses can be offline. You can be instructed by a real person and not just watch a video online and maybe have some automated test attached to it to test your knowledge. Yeah, this is all very interesting, but out of reach for almost anyone who is not like a world-known expert. So let's go to the advice number 5. Making online courses. Nothing groundbreaking here, just create a good online course and put it on e-learning platforms. We all remember that the vast majority of e-learning courses do not make any substantial amount of money, but I think a guy like the author of this article is definitely going to be in the top 1%. So if you're in the same position, you can follow this advice. Advice number 7 is sell random stuff. Document templates, spreadsheet tools, sample project deliverables, checklists, ebooks, webinars, and other useful items. So not much to tell here. I guess this is like a passive income source for someone who's collected so much material over their career that they can just sell some of it. And if you are a well-known expert, people will want to buy it. The final advice is affiliate programs. When you mention some products in your articles or lectures, you can put links to Amazon or other places where it can be bought. Again, nothing groundbreaking here, but there is one interesting fact. Apparently, if you put an affiliate link somewhere and then somebody clicks on it, you will get paid even if the person doesn't buy the exact product you linked. They still have to buy something else, but you will get paid even for this unrelated purchase. That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. So for the future, if you have some creators you want to support and they post affiliate links, but you don't actually need the product they linked, you can still go on Amazon through that link and then go on and buy whatever you wanted to buy anyway, and the creator will get some cut of that. And that was the whole article. It was pretty good, I liked it. It had a very different vibe compared to other articles we looked at. It was not about, chasing quick cash without any effort, but it's more about, if you are an expert, here is how you can make some money. That is not like your university professor salary or something. I wish more people followed this advice instead of chasing quick earnings, but I understand that it's obviously not for a lot of people. I cannot follow it simply because I'm not an expert in anything. So let's go to something that might be more suitable to the average person. The most underrated way to make passive income in 2025. Right. It's immediately obvious that the author's real passion is web design. Look at these different fonts and different text sizes, combining bold and italic. This is modern art. It's poetry. But what's the article actually about? It's not crypto, it's not dropshipping, it's not selling stuff on Amazon, it's not affiliate links, it's not faceless AI-generated content, which is good, but what is it? Some more modern poetry. Okay, here we go. One day I did something that changed the course of everything. I started writing online. And at first it didn't work. Some articles got few views, some got 0, some got ignored completely. Not sure what the difference between the last two categories is, but it is poetry, okay? It's some poetic repetition technique like forever and ever, or me, myself, and I. Some got 0 views, some got ignored completely, same thing. Eventually, people started to organically comment and share his articles, and then somebody bought the product that he linked, and I assume it kind of snowballed from there. The advice he's giving is: write about something you actually enjoy, create a useful product that is relevant to the thing you are writing about, and link it in your articles without pushing people to buy it. And that's it. Honestly, I really like this advice. Be authentic, write about your interests instead of trying to fit into profitable niches or whatever. Don't chase trends and hype. Just focus on your experience instead of money, and money will come. This is the advice I fully support, because being an online creator has a lot of downsides compared to the regular 9-to-5 job. You don't have a guaranteed income, you don't have benefits like paid sick leave, but on the plus side, you have full freedom to make whatever you want to make and not do something that other people ask of you. And it's so sad when people start to write about the most boring topics imaginable, like digital marketing or real estate, because in this case they have the worst of both worlds. They have all the tedium of a 9-to-5 job, but none of the benefits and all of the instability and unpredictability of being a self-employed online creator. I understand that some people may not really have a choice in the matter. If you are from a country where youth unemployment is a really pressing issue, if you cannot find any job and you look for online income just because there is nothing else you can do to make money, then obviously do whatever works for you. I am not shaming you for writing about something you are not interested in to make some money so that you do not starve. But if you are privileged enough to have a choice, I think you should follow advice from this article and write about something that interests you and not just something that might be more profitable. Finally, let's look at the top 3 ways to make passive income. Number 1, content creation. Wow, what's that? Never heard of it. Thankfully, the article provides a definition for this obscure term. Sharing your learning, your wins and your losses in the form of a video, an article or an audio is content creation. Got it. I think I'm doing something like that right now. This guy is creating YouTube videos and blog posts about self-publishing, making money online, affiliate marketing and digital products, and monetizes his content through ads, affiliate commissions, and product sales. So nothing groundbreaking here. I guess the amount of money he spends on software and hosting can be a little bit useful to understand how much you would have to spend if you want to become a content creator, but I would say it can be done completely for free. You don't have to spend anything. There is free editing software. You might want to buy like a microphone and a phone stand for your phone if you want to make videos, but again, it's not strictly necessary if you are just starting out. Let's go to the advice number 2. Self-publishing. This guy has been earning hundreds of dollars per month from self-publishing low content and medium content books on Amazon. What's a low content book, by the way? Is it like a really short book, or maybe a really bad book where there is just a sprinkle of useful information and a lot of meaningless word salad? Well, let me quant it real quick. Okay, so Amazon defines low content books as any books that have repetitive pages with little to no words. Stuff like journals, trackers, planners, coloring books, and other forms of content that involve very little words. So it's not like a scam, it's not a bad thing. People who buy these know that they're not going to find a lot of content inside their daily planner or something, but that's not the problem. That's kind of the whole point. So if you want to sell a book but don't want to write a book, these are perfect. I just think that the market might be a little bit oversaturated, and the author of the article appears to agree with me on that. At the time of writing, I still continue to make passive income via self-publishing, however, I have slowed down my book creation process. So let's move on to the third and final and the best passive income advice. This article, and by extension this video, has been building up to this one, and I really hope it's good. Otherwise, I'll be very annoyed. Right, so drum roll please, meet selling digital products. Yeah, okay. In particular, this guy sells KDP interior templates and keyword lists. And if I understand correctly, you can spend a couple of bucks on this template of a low content book like a college notebook or daily planner, and then upload it to Amazon and start making money. So basically, the idea behind this business is this guy knows that there is not much money to be had there in the low content book market because it's so oversaturated. A lot of people are trying to sell these, and since, notebooks are basically interchangeable, it's very hard to stand out as a low content book creator, especially if you buy the template from someone else. So what you can do is you can convince other people that it is profitable, and then you can sell them the means to reach this profit and profit from it, of course. It's like selling shovels at a gold rush. It's a very time-tested way of making money. I just don't think it's very ethical, but what can I do? And that was it. That concludes our journey through passive income advice from Medium. Time for some final thoughts. As I suspected, the perfect passive income strategy does not exist. There is always some sort of catch. Sometimes it's shady and just not worth it. Sometimes you need to own something in order to rent it. Sometimes you need to get really lucky with your investments. Sometimes you need to be a world-class expert on something in order to sell books and courses. And sometimes you don't need to actually do anything or know anything, but so many people are trying to do this that it's basically impossible to make any money from it. With the last one, I admit that you can make some money if you get really lucky or if you get in early and the market for whatever AI slop you are trying to sell is not saturated enough. But usually, especially at the point when people start selling courses on how to do it, that means it's too late. There is no way you are going to become rich from this or make any significant amount of money. I'm not saying that you should never try something if you have any competition. That would be insanely bad advice. I'm just saying that it's not going to be easy. If you want to write a book or create an online course, for example, you have to understand that so many people are trying to do the same thing, and so many people are trying to do it with as little effort as possible. So you have to be smart about it. You have to think of some ways to stand out among all the people who are chasing this trend. And if you plan ahead and you understand the risks, please go ahead. I wish you all the best. But if you need to be one of the best in order to make any noticeable amount of money, that means you will have to spend a lot of effort, which means it's not really a passive income. It's just a side hustle or even a full-on self-employment. The The thing is, modern internet is a fire hose of content. We have so much content right now, and so much more is being created every day that you cannot just write a few good articles or books or courses and expect to earn money from them forever. Your income will start dropping at some point simply because so much other content is being created and the amount of money people can spend is limited. And most of these articles kind of agree with me because most of them are about maximizing your income as a solo entrepreneur online and not about like making money without any effort whatsoever. So to sum everything up, let's go over the actual useful advice that we considered today. Repurposing content is great advice. If you have some content already, you can post it on different platforms in different formats. And it's not only about like videos and blog posts. If you are an artist, if you're a designer or photographer, you can post your photos on Redbubble or stock footage websites and make some extra money this way. Automation is also good advice. Just don't go overboard with it. Don't automate everything, otherwise, like, what is it that you're actually doing? But using some helpful tools to streamline your uploading process or transcribing your videos is pretty good. And you can sell these tools too, so what's not to like? Renting stuff out is, well, it is an advice. If you have something that you can rent, you can try doing that. Running a meme page was a nice advice. It's not as fashionable as it was like 10 years ago, but it sounds fun. At least definitely more fun than running like a marketing blog. Speaking of blogs, if you love to write about some topic, please have a blog, pour your passion into articles, maybe repurpose this content by also creating a podcast about the same thing, but basically follow your passions and write about something that interests you, because you know that tons of people are trying to make money online writing blogs. And if you are not passionate about something and you're only in it for the money, you're going to burn out very quickly. But if you just write about something you enjoy, it will keep you going for longer, and it will actually increase your chances of standing out among the people who are not as passionate. So the advice is, don't put profit first, because this way you will have neither good time nor a lot of money. Same advice goes for online courses. If you want to share your knowledge, please do, but be aware that it's not a money-making machine. So create a course, add some personal touch to it, and see how it goes. Exact same advice goes for books or videos. I'm making videos on topics I'm interested in. Am I making any money? No. Am I raking up views? Also no. But it is fun, and that's why I keep doing them, with large hiatuses, of course, but, you know, I have a day job, and also I am very lazy. If this video becomes successful, that's great, but if it doesn't, that's fine. I had a good time making it, and I will have a lot of fun watching it with my friends. And that's it. I think we learned something today. Not as much as we hoped for, but these articles were not a complete waste of time. Also, we had some fun along the way. I mean, otherwise, why would you be still watching this video if the only thing you wanted is practical advice? If you have any thoughts, opinions, maybe you tried some of the ways of achieving passive income mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments. I will be very curious to hear your story. If you like this video, you know what to do, and I will see you next time, hopefully. Bye bye.